Hey YouTube, what's going on? My name is Jose. I'm going to be doing another review on another awesome knife. This is the SOG Seal Pup Elite. This is a pretty sweet knife. It is actually my favorite that I have at the moment. If you've seen any of my other reviews, you've seen a few of the knives I have, including the SOG Seal Team Elite, the full-size version. Also, freaking sweet knife. There's the review on it. Up that you can see as well. Um, Now, a few things about the knife. This knife is super sturdy. I have, in construction wise, no complaints. This thing is built like a tank. I can see why the SEAL teams would want this knife. Um, it definitely earns its namesake. It's very, very good at what it does. This is the combo edge right here. I kind of wish I would have gotten the plain edge. I'm actually a fan of plain edges over serrated edges, except for my Spyderco Endura. I do like the Spyderco serration, so I did get a serrated knife from them. But for the most part, for most companies, I do prefer a plain edge blade. Easier to sharpen and, for me, more practical in field purposes, especially since I do a lot of hunting. I prefer to have a plain edge because the serrations tend to mess up the meat when I cut it and when I'm cleaning animals. It is helpful though to have the combo edge for certain things that require tough work, like cutting rope or leather or thick objects. Like for instance, if I was cleaning an animal and I needed to get through tendons and stuff, serrations is the way to go because it definitely just tears through that and gets the job done quick. But anyways, those are just my take on that. So about the knife, this knife, like I said, is built very well. I love the way the handle is made. If you look at the Seal Team Elite, the full size version, the handle, they're definitely different. So here's the Seal Pup, here's the full size. First of all, the handle length is quite different. If you look right here, there's a full about ½ inch of difference between the handles. I have a kind of small hand, so the Seal Team Elite actually tends to, it goes out almost 1.5 inches past the end of my hand. The Seal Pup, right there, just perfect. This is like an unlockable grip. If somebody tried to pull this from my hand, good luck, because I'm gonna hold on like holy hell. This thing is great. The gripping on here is amazing, phenomenal the way they did it. On the Seal team, they did this similar gripping. However, it's much bigger, and on the Seal team, it tends to hurt your hand. The gripping is very rough, and it's a very hard handle. So with extended use, it hurts your hand, fatigues it, and actually makes it really sensitive. The Seal Pup totally got rid of that problem. Um, it's very not mellow. It's aggressive enough to where you could feel it. Like if you worked long enough, of course it's going to hurt your hand, but it's the same thing with every knife. This is the Seal Team Elite. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the ribbings right there. Similar to the Seal Team Elite, right here also has the ribbings. I love the ribbings. It acts as though it's jimping, and that's really cool because when you're working, let's say you have to carve something, you always want a little bit of grip up there, so that you're not slipping off, which can like make your thumb sore, cause blisters, and things like that. So that is amazing. Also good, like let's say you needed to smooth down a large log for some spear or something like that in a survival situation. You could really dig down into that using your hand right here, and you have no fear of sliding off. And it's nice and wide on the back, so you have some actual girth there to really dig in and not mess up your hand. If it was a thinner knife, that would be impractical and it would actually hurt a lot. But these two knives do very great in the thickness of the blade. If you can see that right there, really nice and thick, and I love that in a knife. I love to have a knife that has a lot of girth, and I know it's not going to break in my hand or anything. SOG has done a lot of testing on these knives. You can actually look it up. They did things, saltwater immersion tests. They did the teal test where they put that in the lock, and they basically tried to break the knife. These went extremely well. They did extremely well. They outperformed most knives, and I can totally see why. The construction is phenomenal. One thing I wish this one had that the Seal team has is they both have a full tang blade, but on this one, the blade comes out all the way to the hilt. right here, whereas the Seal Pup does not have that. That is interesting to me because I can see why this knife would need it more, because this is a more combat type knife. And if you're in combat, you definitely want to have this as a non-lethal type of strike, or lethal depending on where you place it. And also this makes it great for utility purposes. Use it as a hammer, use it to break certain things, and to save your blade from certain work that it doesn't need to do. The Seal Pup doesn't have that. But if it did have that, it would make it slightly unbalanced, because the way this knife feels right now is really good. It does the clip point justice. You definitely have slash power. If you got in a fight and you are not comfortable with your jabs or your stabs or anything, if you just took a slash, this thing's going to do major damage, easily go through sleeves, thick leather, no problem. The serrations on here are awesome. They're almost combat serrations. If you've seen K-bars, K-bars have very rounded serrations, and that's nice for combat because if you strike and you hit on the serrations, it's not going to bend them over like it would happen on a sharp serration. So that is a plus. These do have a little bit more point to them than do the K-bars. So it definitely has a little bit more of a jagged edge, and it can really just cut through any tough material you needed to cut it through, which is great. I got this from a friend actually. He gave it to me, and he got it brand new. He used it one time, and then he gave it to me because he liked the Seal Pup better. It's a lighter knife than this and doesn't have the ribbing. Some people really don't like the ribbing. I love it. But it was shaving sharp when I got it, and that's even after he used it, and still pretty much factory. The tip of it came pretty sharp, not extremely like I said, my tie light, extremely acute point. But that's fine, because if this had an extremely acute point, it would run the risk of bending over, and that's would be devastating to a blade if you needed it for combat or hunting. So this blade does very well in its point. This would definitely go through thick jackets, or pretty much anything else. If you were hunting an animal, this would definitely go through almost like butter. So it did very well. The blade, I like the angle they put on it. Some knives have very cute angles, and I'm not a big fan of that, because yes, they're sharper, but also they're weaker. They lose their sharpness quickly. I don't like that. This has a perfect medium. K-bar, I believe, has too wide an angle. When I got my K-bar, I actually had to work it quite a bit to change the angle to what I wanted. It did chip the paint a little bit, which is kind of a downfall, because I did like the look of the jet black blade. But it was okay, because I liked the blade better after I finished with it. This has a really nice angle. It works perfectly in most run-through sharpeners. It's a good angle. Some run-through sharpeners run a little bit smaller angles, and that's where you have to worry, because these knives, if you ruin the blade, it's very hard to get back. It's very strong steel. It stays sharp a while, but if you completely lose your edge, it's going to be really hard to get that edge back. So just make sure you keep it sharp every time you use it. Run it through a few times. If you use stones, they definitely bring out everything in this knife. I do have a whetstone somewhere, not near me at the moment, but I do use a whetstone, and oh my gosh, it makes it just like samurai sword sharp. It's amazing. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about the knife. This is my go-to knife when I'm going out hunting, when I'm going in the wilderness, or just even to an area I don't know. I strap it on my backpack, put it on my belt. It's amazing, perfect knife for that. The sheath, it comes with the nylon sheath. This one's kind of been to hell and back. I've been using it a lot lately in hunting and things like that. And I love this nylon sheath. Has the extra pocket on it. You can put a sharpener, even another knife in there if you needed to. Flint, pretty much anything you would need. Matches, a lighter, and that's really good for a survival type kit. You could even put a small packet of matches in here, some fishing line, whatever you needed. You could have a whole survival pack right in this sheath with the knife, and that in itself is just super helpful, and I think that's unbeatable. So all around, this knife is amazing. I have no complaints about it. I like that it has the lanyard hole. I don't really put lanyards on my knives, but that's okay. It is nice to have the option. So that's the SOG CL Pup Elite. Amazing knife. If you can get one, go for it. Highly recommend it, and I really don't think you can go wrong with this knife. So that's my review on the CL Pup Elite. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found something useful in it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, whatever you can. I really appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you again next time.